The Prince Albert Challenge Cup now. We've got Coxes on board here in this student men's fours event between the crew from Aegir on the far side from the Netherlands and Colgate University, USA on the right-hand side. And it's an all-international affair here as we move through the island, and some really high rates of striking from both crews here, Tom.
Yeah, testament to the attractiveness of this regatta that we do have competition so early on that is just two crews who are not from the UK. You can see here the Prince Albert for Cox fours. You have the Cox bow loaded underneath the bowman, who's sort of furthest away from the camera as we look at this shot, or closest now to the camera as the shot rectifies. And it's clear that Aegir from Holland have had the better of the two starts. Colgate just struggling a little bit with their line. This Colgate crew, actually, they're one of two in the regatta. They also had an 8 which were knocked out in the Temple Challenge Cup this morning. So this is their last remaining vestige of hope at Henley Royal Regatta, and at the moment it doesn't look good for these boys. They are struggling to keep a hold of a Dutch crew who just look a lot more powerful, Camilla.
Yeah, some really big levers there on the far side. These are students from the University of Groningen in the Netherlands. Full name of this crew, the Groningen Studentenvereniging Aegir, who are currently being warned to return to their station. And as they come past this camera, this is a great shot where we get to see the faces of the Coxes who steer these boats, because in these fours, Tom, they sit right in those bows, but it does mean that they can see where they're going. And that was something actually that Bella Jaff, who's in the Coxes seat on the left-hand side for Colgate University, she coxed the 8 this morning, and she said, I much prefer this afternoon's race steering the fours because I can see where I'm going.
That's really interesting. You're right, they can see where they're going, but they can't see the umpire warning them. So you've got to question who's doing the comms through the crew, who is actually responsible for relaying that message to the Cox, because she can't turn around. She actually is literally fixed in place. She can't see that umpire Sarah Winkless is telling them to move back to their station. So you've got to assume there's a good conduit of communication from crew to Cox, but it does look like Aegir have changed or modified their line to make sure that they're staying in their water, because this race is absolutely still competitive. It's not run by any stretch of the imagination, as we wouldn't expect it to be, just going past Forley. But as the camera comes live, it looked like Aegir have just moved attritionally out into what is a commanding lead.
Yeah, you talked about the power, you know, looking at how powerful that crew is. Ben Bakker, who's in the 3 seat for the Aegir crew, so just one in from the left of the picture on this Aegir crew. He's actually got the record for 100 metres on the RP3, which is a sort of, you know, a model of rowing machine here, and that's pretty big. You've got to have lots of power to do a sprint distance like 100 metres. It's much like running, right?
Exactly that, yeah. You've got to have a lot of wattage to be able to pull that off, and I imagine he would be very helpful in the first 100 metres and the last 100 metres if a sprint is necessary. But by the looks of things, a sprint not going to be necessary here from the lads from the Netherlands. They have this race under relative control. You're always a little bit nervous about saying that at Henley Royal Regatta, because those booms don't take any prisoners and things can happen that are quite strange coming through the steward's enclosure. But at the moment, Aegir looking like the class outfit in this contest.
Yeah, they look really good. This is a really challenging event here, the Prince Albert Challenge Cup. So much quality, very difficult to qualify for. So again, good to see 2 international crews matching up. On the left, Colgate, we just talked about Bella Jaff, who's jumped straight out of their Temple crew that got knocked out this morning in the student men's 8s, and now jumped into this Prince Albert Challenge Cup this afternoon to steer them down the course. But a returning crew, right? They've got you know, Thomas Feeney, who suffered from a hip injury, had an operation on that. He sits in the 3 seat of that crew, and returning just in the fall back to rowing. So again, probably not at full fitness, at full pace, having had that kind of blip in their season, but I think they've just been matched up against what Tom and I have, you know, sort of seen to be a very strong crew from the Netherlands. So Sjoerd Roodleep, Johannes Ben Bakker, Vaughan van Inge and David Kruining of Aegir will be victors in this Prince Albert Challenge Cup race. And big slumps there from the Colgate University crew as they cross the line, and I think perhaps, Tom, that might be their final crew in the regatta.